Dear learners and viewers, welcome to you all wherever you are. I am Chandrasekhar Sikdar, lecturer of English, Dhaka Shiksha Board Laboratory School and College, once again before you with a new topic from English for today, that means English first paper. First of all, I will show you some pictures, I will give you some clues, and then you will try to guess what might be the topic. Okay, let's see. Yes, here you see there are two pictures. Now guess what are they doing in picture 1? They are shouting, they are quarreling, and in picture 2 they are fighting. So quarreling and fighting, this denotes a sort of a type of conflict. So we can say quarreling and fighting arise from conflicts. So our today's topic is what is conflict, and it is in your textbook unit 12 lesson 2, and if you have a copy of new edition you will get it in unit 10 lesson 2. Okay, dear learners, you know conflict is an inevitable part of human being, and it has been existing since the outbreak of human habitation. You know there is a proverb, many men, many minds. That means everybody wants or everybody considers himself or herself to be perfect on a particular issue, and they try to establish their viewpoints ignoring others, and as a result conflict arises naturally. So our today's discussion, or I shall talk about mainly on definition, causes and types of conflict. How does conflict influence our actions and decisions? Is there any positive impact of conflict? Okay, let's start our session from the text. This thesis is from text. Okay, you see, conflict can be described as a disagreement among groups or individuals characterized by antagonism and hostility. That means we can define that when two persons are in a disagreement, then it arises. Okay, it might be among peoples, group of peoples, and it is characterized by antagonism or hostility. That means resentment, hatred, enmity and hostility. Okay, these are the main things. On the basis of this point, conflict arises. This is usually fueled by the opposition of one party to another in an attempt to reach an objective different from that of other party. Okay, so this is stimulated when there is opposition, or when two parties they have their own point of view, but they try to impose their point of view to others, and then it arises. The element involved in the conflict have varied set of principles and values, thus allowing a conflict to arise. Again, conflict might arise when people from different set of principles or values. Okay, conflict can be defined in many ways, but one of the simplest is that it pertains to the opposing ideas and actions of different entities, resulting in an antagonistic state. Okay, we can define conflict in different ways, but the easiest and the simple or the simplest definition is that when two entities, two individuals or two organizations or two parties, when they are opposite to each other, and only then it arises. That means it refers to the opposing ideas. Okay, and it creates an anarchy, it creates an resentment, it creates an hostile situation. Conflict is an inevitable part of life. All of us possesses our own opinions, ideas and set of beliefs. We have our own ways of looking at things, and we act accordingly to what we think is proper. What I mentioned earlier, very often we try to establish our own point of view, ignoring what others says, and as a result conflict arises. We often find ourselves in a conflict in different scenarios. It may involve other individuals, groups of people, or a struggle within our own selves. This is very important. Yes, conflict not only occurs within groups or among peoples or within different parties, rather it may arise in our own selves. Okay, this is very important. Consequently, conflict influences our actions and decisions in one way or another. Thus, we say conflicts affects our actions, our decisions. Next, conflict comes naturally. You know, conflict is not an exotic thing, it comes naturally. The clashing of thoughts and ideas of a part of human experience. It is true that it can be destructive if left uncontrolled. This is very important. Conflict is an inevitable part in our life, but if it goes uncontrolled, if it is left uncontrolled, if it goes beyond our control, then it might be destructive. However, it shouldn't be seen as something that can only cause negative things to transpire. But here we should remember, conflict doesn't indicate that it always brings negative things. Conflicts gives us some positive aspects. Okay, it is a way to come up with more meaningful realization. How does it create positive aspects? Okay, sometimes it helps us to get meaningful realization in our day-to-day life activities, and again that can certainly be helpful to individual involved, and it is really very helpful for every person's. Next, conflict can be seen as an opportunity for learning and understanding our differences. Again, conflict gives us an opportunity. How? It helps us to understand, to learn something from different situations. Yes, we have differences, we have different ideas, thoughts and philosophies, but it will help us to understand each other very well. We can all live harmoniously despite conflicts as long as we know how to responsibly manage these struggles. Now, this is very important thing. We cannot avoid conflicts. It is a part and parcel of our life, but we can live peacefully or harmoniously if we are able to know how to cope up with this conflict, how to manage this conflict. Okay, and for this we need to know the kinds of conflict. Okay, now I shall talk about causes and types of conflict. Okay, according to American psychologists, conflicts are basically of three types arising out of three different causes. Okay, and these are, first of all, economic conflict. You know, this is very, very important. Economic conflict. You know, dear students, you know, economy in our world, everything, what I should say, in our in the universe, everything surrounds on the basis of economic situation. I mean, economy manipulate everything. Economy manipulates everything. Okay, here you see resources are limited, and so groups of individuals come into conflict with each other to possess as much as these resources as possible, thus bringing forth hostile behavior among those involved. So here you see, in our universe resources are very limited, but our demands, our needs are unlimited, and as a result very often we try to get more and more. In Banglaয় রবীন্দ্রনাথের 3 বিঘা জমির মতো. Okay, I mean, when the haves try to possess the wealth of the have-nots, then this conflict, then economic conflict arises. Next one is value conflict. It is concerned with the varied preferences and ideologies that people have as their principles. Conflicts driven by this factor are demonstrated in wars, whether in separate parties have their separate set of beliefs and they assert in an aggressive manner. Okay, this is most important thing. Value conflict. I mean, all of us have our own set of beliefs, have our own opinion, our own ideologies. But if we try our own beliefs and ideologies to others, if we want to impose these ideas to others in an aggressive manner, then it will arise. Suppose I think I am perfect in my own point of view, and what others says I don't consider it. Okay, in that case a conflict arises. If I think I am the best, my opinion, my ideologies are the best, and what others say that is incorrect, at that time it will arise, conflict arise. And power conflict, it occurs when the parties involved intend to maximize what influences they have in the social setting. Such a situation can happen among individuals, group, or even nations. This is very, very important. Power conflict. You know, power regulates everything. Power is the most important thing in the universe. You know, Michel Foucault says that power reproduces knowledge. Even power reproduces knowledge. So here you see how powerful this concept is, power. Everybody want to acquire power, everybody want to get power, everybody want to get some personal interest, get benefits using his power in social setting. And sometimes one party tries to dominate other parties using this power. So as a result, this power conflict arises. Next, conflicts are also classified into 4 following types. This is very, very important. Interpersonal conflict, intrapersonal conflict, intragroup conflict, intergroup conflict. Okay, interpersonal conflict. This type of conflicts happen between individuals. Okay, it can eventually help in personal growth, developing our relationships with others. Then intrapersonal conflict, this is very, very important. It occurs within the individual. Okay, we can say it is a psychological process. The experience takes place in the person's mind, hence it involves the individual thoughts, values, principles, and emotions. For example, suppose I am supposed to meet one of my friends at 5 p.m. Okay, and mentally I am ready to meet him or her at that time, but suddenly at 4:30 it starts raining. So now I am thinking whether or not I should meet my friend, because if I go outside I may be drenched and I may be caught cold. And again, so I have taken a decision that I shouldn't go out right now. But at the same time I am thinking that perhaps if I won't meet my friend, he might take hurt, he might be very unhappy. So now I am in a conflict whether or not I should go out or go to meet my friend. So in that case I can take a third decision, and that is I can make a phone call to my friend and say that today I won't go, I may meet with him or her at 6 p.m. So this is called interpersonal conflict, and you see interpersonal conflict helps you to make a decision, to take a decision in our practical life. Then intragroup conflict, it is a type of conflict that happens among individuals within a team. It can be helpful in coming up with decisions. However, if the degree of conflict disrupts harmony among the members, then some serious guidance from a different party will be needed for it to be settled. Okay, intragroup conflict. Okay, it is a type of conflict that happens among individuals within a team. For example, there is a party named Democratic Party. Okay, and this party has some organization. Okay, and it might be Junior Democratic Party, it might be Youth Democratic Party. Now there is a conflict on an issue between Young Democratic Party and Youth Democratic Party. So this is called intra-group conflict. Okay, I mean conflict within the two organization within a big party. Next, intergroup conflict. It takes place when misunderstanding arise among different parties. Okay, for example, suppose there are three parties, party A, party B, party C, and if party A and C has a conflict, then this is called intergroup conflict. Now there are some important vocabularies for you. Antagonism, that means antipathy, resentment, hatred, hostility. Enmity, unfriendliness. Pertain, relate to or connect to. Transpire, emerge, leak out or come to light. Harmonious, pleasant or united. Maximize, get most out of something. Incompatible, mismatched or unsuited. Disrupt, interrupt or disturb. So we have discussed everything that is in your text. Now to sum up what we have discussed, we can say that conflict can be defined as disagreement among groups or individuals characterized by antagonism and hostility. We can also say the causes of conflict are economic status, values or ideologies, as well as dispute in holding power cause conflict. And we have also learned that types of conflict. These are economic conflict, value conflict, power conflict, interpersonal conflict, intrapersonal conflict, intragroup conflict, intergroup conflict. And we also learned that conflicts is not a negative thing. Conflicts has some positive aspects. It influences our actions and decisions. If it is uncontrolled, if it is left uncontrolled, it hampers the harmony of our relationship, peace, development activities and overall progress. And what I mentioned earlier, there are some positive impacts of conflict if it is controlled. And conflicts is a way to come with more meaningful realization. Conflicts always help us to have a good decision in our life, and it may be an opportunity for learning and understanding our differences. So this is all about conflict. I hope you have understood well. Now I'll show you a fill in the gaps. Suppose this fill in the gaps has been chosen from your text. Now we will see how to answer this fill in the gaps. Okay, so here you see there are 10 words, 10 clues. These are within, economic, clash, serious, interpersonal, among, called, natural, and earned. Now we will see how to fill the gap with appropriate word. Conflict can be defined as dash value and ideas among other things, and most serious form of conflict is dash clash that result in a lot of deaths and casualties. Okay, you see the answer or try to guess what might be the answer. Yes, conflict can be defined as clash of values and ideas among other things, and the most serious form of conflict is armed clashes that result in a lot of deaths and casualties. There can be conflict within us which is called interpersonal conflict. The conflict between or among persons is called interpersonal conflict. Constraint of natural resources is also a cause of conflict, and it is known as economic conflict. Conflict is a very natural phenomenon, but sometimes it takes serious forms. So, this is all for today. I hope you have understood our today's topic. So, now it is your duty to read the text very carefully and try to understand the meaning of every sentences. Okay, be safe and sound. Bye.